What's up, everybody? Richie here, Hybrid Athletics. I had a rough month. Y'all saw the other video. One of the things that set me back was that I had a bad back tweak. This is my second time having a back tweak, or visiting Snap City, whatever you want to call it. So now I now have a history of lower back injuries, but the difference is that the first time it took me years to recover. Both like psychologically and mentally, because I had the wrong mindset and the wrong approach to recovering quickly. This time it took less than 3 weeks. I feel like I'm right back where I need to be to continue to progress, keep the game train rolling and move on, just keep making progress. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I did to sort of fast track my recovery. And go from having like debilitating pain to where I couldn't pretty much stand, walk, lay down, bend over, or put weight on one foot more than the other without having excruciating lower back pain. To right now feeling good, working back up to 95% of my training, my training max, and pretty much getting back underneath a barbell and working my way back up towards those numbers in like less than 3 weeks. So one thing that I did was I watched Thralls' video. I saw his video, I remembered it, and when I had the injury, it was like word for word described exactly the thoughts that were going on in my mind and the injury, even the same move. What happened was I was deadlifting. First rep comes off the floor fast. It doesn't feel like a struggle at all. Second rep, about an inch off the ground, pop in my lower back, and immediately had to drop the bar. Had to have somebody come clean up 405 pounds of plates for me in the gym. I would never make someone do that if they didn't have to. A bunch of people were waiting for the platform around me, so it was like, everyone was watching, so it was really embarrassing. So just to, sort of paint a picture of the kind of pain it was, like, and the situation, it hurts to pretty much do everything. So what did I do to sort of fast track the progress? I watched that video, had the same kind of injury, and he said he started doing body weight deadlifts. So I started doing air deadlifts and air squats with a belt. So I took my 10 millimeter powerlifting belt and used it to pretty much touch the bed, do an RDL touch the bed, and and it looks crazy. So pretty much doing RDLs touching the bed, you know what I'm saying? and then doing air squats, so assisted air squat, where I would grab the side of the couch and just do an assisted air squat, all belted. I did probably 3 sets of each of those, and then I eventually worked up to the barbell, and then I eventually worked up to doing like a barbell squat and maybe up to like 95 pounds with the deadlift. So the same day I hurt my back, I actually did more deadlifts, right? The first time, what I tried to do was just lay around and avoid movement. That's probably the worst thing I could do because it made it lock up tighter, right? And I tried to avoid the movement, and I kept focusing on the pain. So those were the 2 things that I did wrong. This time, the 2 things that I did right were I continued to move, so it couldn't lock up as bad, and have a positive mindset, because I'm like, you know what? I can feel my toes. I'm not having any shooting pain. There's no nerve damage. I can sort of move around. I can sort of bend over, so I know nothing's broken. So having the positive mindset and continuing to move, pretty much to sum it up, is what allowed me to recover this quickly. But so I did that. I did the Romanian deadlifts, worked up to 95 pounds, and with the 95 pounds, I did not do Romanian deadlifts. I was doing conventional deadlifts with 95 pounds, and I was also taking pain relievers, just regular over-the-counter Aleve, right? So a non-steroidal, anti-inflammatory drug, anything like that will work. Aleve, Advil, and anyways. The next day, I did more deadlifts and squats. And this day, I started out doing all body weight. The next day, I got up, I could barely get out of bed. So just to describe my pain the next day, it wasn't like, whoa, I did a set of body weight squats and everything's fine. No, the next day I had trouble sleeping the whole night. The next day I had to go like this, guys. Roll back and forth on my bed to gain momentum. I was like, and flung myself out of bed like that. That's what I had to do to get out of bed. It's that bad. So, hurt to bend over, but just continue to go about my day. Put my socks on, put my shorts on, start doing body weight Romanian deadlifts. Every time I did a set, felt a little better. That day, I worked up to 135 pounds belted conventional deadlift and 95 pound squat, or maybe even a little less than 95, maybe like 75 pound squat. Day after that, more deadlifts, more squats. Same thing. Pain felt a little bit better than the day before. I'm continuing to take my leave. It felt a little bit better than the day before. Worked up to 185 on deadlifts and 135 on squats. Then I had to work for a few days in a row. So, was staying active, kept moving, made sure to just really engage my legs, glutes when I'm doing all these moves. Every time I have to bend over to do something, didn't have anyone do anything for me, just staying active and moving. Okay, that week I had a pretty good week in the gym. All my other lifts, I actually hit a couple like rep PRs. Like I hit like 140 for 8 on strict press. So like that's a PR. I hit like 200 for 10 on bench. I think that's a rep PR. So I still had a productive week. An additional 35 pounds into to my 190 body weight for 10 reps, wide grip pull-ups. That's a rep PR. So I was still able to make some progress. What did I do for deadlifts and squats though that week? Well, I'm like, I'm not trying to set any PRs. I'm just trying to go get my bare minimum working. You know what I'm saying? I just get my bare minimum reps for Wendler 531 and just sort of building up psychologically, being like, teaching my body like it's okay to do these movements. Like, you're safe. And there was a couple times where I loaded up the bar and I was like, damn, I'm scared of this shit. Like, cause it's so soon that I just hurt my back and I don't want to hurt it again. It hurts so bad. But I loaded it up. I worked up to 365 for 3 on deadlifts. So still worked up to 90% of my training max. Got a triple. So and that was after 1 week. So I'm right back up there. It's almost like I never missed a beat, because when I hurt my back, I was like, I'm just gonna take a deload. So it actually wound up benefiting me in a way. The other thing I did was I checked my form. I was like, I'm not doing this jerky shit every time I set up my deadlift. I'm gonna be more like deliberate and calculated with my setup, and making sure that my shoulders are really locked in and my lower back's really locked in. Bring my hips down a little lower before I pull. So just making an adjustment, using a deload, and continuing to move. Now, unfortunately, I would have liked to see how much I could have progressed in a short time, but I got sick. I had a fever for a few days, and I also had a really busy couple weeks of work. So it just kind of set me back a little bit. But now I feel good. So this next week and this next month, actually, I'm looking forward to progressing, just picking right where I left off. And continuing to progress. Like I said, just keep the gain train rolling. That's how I feel right now. The other day, even coming off the fever, still worked up to 360 for a single on my deads. Nothing crazy to where I'm like, oh, look how strong I am. But to go from not being able to put my socks on to working up to 95% of my training max. In a few weeks, even like having those busy ass couple weeks and even having a fever, that's huge progress. Especially considering last time what I did was I hurt myself, continue to focus on the pain, and then even years later, when I'm 70 pounds overweight and not eating any anti-inflammatory foods, my lower back's hurting, I'm still blaming it on that one incident. But really, it was a culmination of so many other problems that was causing the pain. So this time the attitude is what made a big difference too. Well, that's it. That's what I did to get over my back tweak really fast, and just continue to keep on going. Hope it helps. I'm gonna link Alan Thralls' video, since that was a major help, like life-changing kind of shit. So I'll link that video so you can watch his story as well, and just know, if you're going through an injury or something that sounds similar like this. You know, I'm not a doctor, so obviously, you know, if you feel like you need to seek other medical advice, you know, you don't have to take this. This is just me sharing my experience. I've seen both sides of the spectrum, so you know, hopefully it helps you. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, take some of this into consideration. Unless you want to go to the doctor and just be told, hey, take these drugs and don't do anything. You know, that's not going to work for me personally. So, you know, if that's not going to work for you either, you know, you might want to just take some of this into consideration. Well, I hope it helped. If it did, go ahead, leave me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Questions and comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.